Well, I thought I'd report in. I've gotten to a good point. Doesn't look dramatically different at a casual glance to how it was before. But all these areas where there are rotten wood have been changed out for good wood. And that wall there will be supported once the new floor joist is in place. And over here, there's the original sill plate, which is just resting on the concrete. There's one 2x10, which is glued and screwed to that. And then another 2x10, which I've got to get in here with a chisel here in the corners where the table saw wouldn't fit. More on that in a little bit. Anyway, that'll be planed out. And that is also glued and screwed. And then I have these massive screws that go through all three 2x10s. This is very, very solid. And originally, I was going to aim for the floor joist to be at the height here of this 2x10. But on this side of the house, everything had settled so much, and I slowly jacked it all up over the span of about a week and a half and got this up a little over half an inch. Sorry about the clutter there where my tools are. But at that point, if I were to jack it up any more, not only would it add another month to the process, but I'd have to rehang a whole bunch of doors in the house that the jambs had settled over the decades as well. So once I had this up as high as I thought I could really do it without spreading the repair process to other rooms and other doors, I measured that point there. That was the highest point. And then I brought the laser level across and marked the line that's sawn there. So this is the height disparity from that side to this side. You can see right here. And this is a level mark, a level cut. And so I had to snap that line and then snap another line exactly 5 inches below that and temporarily screw in a board at that height so I could rest the rotary saw, the skill saw, and go all down the line in one pass. And just at the very end there, and at that end where the saw would not go, I used an oscillating tool, knowing that I could true that up pretty easily with an old-fashioned chisel. And on this side, all that rotten wood has been replaced. So all the rotten wood is out. It's not easy to show because of the lighting situation, but on the other side of this floor, we have the old floor joists, and those are attached to a 2x10, which is right beneath here, with joist hangers. And then this 2x10 is glued and screwed to the 2x10 there. You can see the 2x10 here, which is added. So I've made a 4x10 section here, which is going to be very rigid. And I will later put metal plates here and there, just continuing the line of the doorway down. And I will move that temporary jack post to there and there, just to give auxiliary support so it cannot sag over the coming decades. I have not installed the big heavy-duty screws yet into this, which will tie it more securely to this than these little screws do, because I need to make sure that does not interfere with the joist hangers. On this side, I know it will not because I already measured that out. I just haven't transferred those measurements to this side yet. But that I can do after. I can go ahead and hang the joist off here, and then in the gaps, install those giant screws. And this is all pressure treated stuff here. It's going to be much more rigid than the house ever was before. This had just sagged so much over the decades. And I decided, for structural reasons, that two of these floor joists underneath here had so much damage that they weren't reliable. So I just cut them all off on this line and did this center beam, basically, to really bear all the weight, so that all those joists there have a much shorter span, and that really helps. And these are going to be 16 inches on center with new 2x10s. This is going to be very rigid, and I'll just have auxiliary posts underneath the door frame I think it's going to be very, very solid. And two of the floor joists underneath there where the wood had a lot of damage, I've got 6-foot long new 2x10s sistered in with the big screws, and that's glued and screwed with construction adhesive. Down here, the drains are all tied to the main drain, which is cast iron, the main drain stack from the house, and use the rubber adapter for that, 4-inch to 3-inch. That's all attached and working quite well. And I've got all this temporarily up on blocks to give me the correct slope. And the long run is a eighth inch per foot drop, and the shorter run here is 1/4 inch per foot. I would need an extra 2 pairs of hands to get that more precise, but this is well within the spec and will work fine. I bought some hangers for these pipes, but the hangers aren't long enough to attach to the wood, so I'm going to have to go get some strapping material. I was hoping to avoid that because they don't sell small lengths of that. You got to get a great big roll for like $60 of strapping material. But I guess it's what I got to do. Either that, or I just need to put some concrete blocks to hold it up. I just don't want to have any of the PVC resting on any pressure points. I guess concrete blocks might work fine, but probably I'll get some metal strapping with the rubber support so that the metal's not going to be directly against the PVC. Just because PVC does move a little bit as water runs through it. I don't want that to stress it over the decades to come. And because it is tied into the main sewer line, we just stuffed the ends temporarily with some paper towel just to keep fumes trapped in there. This piece and this piece are not glued in place. They were just there for me to help get that 32-inch center to center spacing. This piece is actually going to be a much longer piece. It goes up to about here. And then this piece will be a longer piece, which will go up to about here, where there'll be the sink drain connection, and then a 45 going up for the vent to this. So that'll all be done shortly. But I can do that right before I put in the actual subfloor. And then this piece here is going to be the drain for the tub. And that tub drain is going to be about here. And I'll build in a plumber's box. I guess the drain probably will be right here. I'll put in a plumber's box, so won't have to. That's right where a beam would normally go, a floor joist, and then that'll have a P-trap of its own, and it'll be vented right there. So that'll be pretty easy to connect. I got to do that little connection at least temporarily before I install the floor joist over in that area. But should all be good. So I've got this gap from here to the top of the old hardwood. I guess you can't see. So from the top of this 2x10 to the top of the old hardwood subfloor is 3/4 inches. And here's the height of the hardwood floor and the rest of the house. So I'm doing a 5/8 plywood first on the floor studs, and then 3/4 inch Advantech, which is the rosin impregnated OSB, which will take me up to just about here, and then the flooring material we're using here will get us to within 1/8 of an inch of the height of the old subfloor. The old hardwood floors in the house. So it should be pretty easy to do a transition. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finally move this electrical wire that's been running across. And then I'm going to get in here with a rake and a shovel and get all the hills and valleys out of this area. I'll move all the bits of wood out of here. And then I'm going to put in 5 mil of the moisture vapor barrier, at least in the area of the bathroom, and maybe going 10 feet in every direction, just so all the water that comes in here from the outside, and I'll do some exterior stuff to minimize that. That water that comes into this dirt won't turn into water vapor, which will affect the new wood. And at that point, then I've got to run a new HVAC line to the plenum, and that will come up right about here. And once all that's in place, then I can put in the floor joists and do the subfloor and have a leg to stand on. Thanks for watching.